And we are live. Sunday Night with Those Guys, and Sunday Night with Those Guys is sponsored by Those Guys.
What's up, Herman? How are you? Happy Sunday. What's going on?
Happy Sunday too. I'm just here. I'm doing a whole lot of things. Well, I told you what happened the other day. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
My computer, it was starting to do some of the things that it was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
After Matt took things apart and reloaded the drivers and stuff like that, and starting to do some of those same things again.
Oh, okay.
And I took it over to Micro Center for them to do diagnostics to find out, which parts were failing. Hey, Steven, what's going on?
Hey, Steven.
Draymond. Yeah, so I had parts and stuff to do another computer.
Your Pinky in the Brain super take over the world computer.
Yeah. And then I had some stuff that I was doing. So anyway, make a long story short, I went in there, they did a stress test, and they found one of the issues was going on. That was in something that was minor.
Right.
But they couldn't find the issue that was going on. And what we spoke about the mojo and whatever was going on and all of that. But
yeah.
So I was like, I have a case, I have some parts. So listen.
Hey, Chad B.
What would I have to do to just take my hard drives out and do something else? And well, he said that to upgrade the graphics card that I had already, I'd have to upgrade the processor.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So no problem. Let's upgrade the processor. So he said, well, the problem is that the Intel, the pin set is different now on the newer processor. I was like, so he said, I gotta get a new board, new processor. Listen, I have these things already. I was like, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I got the case in the car. I was like, I've got all the stuff in the car. I said, I'm bring it inside. We just get some fans and we just hook this up. Let's get it over.
Right.
New bill. Let's get it over with.
Right. So
I had to go through that process. So I still haven't even finalized all of the software and everything, but it's still my old hard drives and everything are just transferred over to this new computer. Oh Lord, it was a nightmare.
Mayhem.
Yeah, so I had to take stuff off the shelf to put in there.
Wow. Well, now you got your computer back. For those of you who don't know, well, first, welcome to Sunday Nights with Those Guys. For those of you who don't know, Herman literally just got his computer plugged in and running minutes, a half hour, 30 minutes before the stream.
Yeah, before the stream.
So I'm glad dude did put it. It's a shame that you had to go and
put that there.
Yeah.
Put that there. Yeah.
I didn't understand that because you gave him a drawing with the layout on where you wanted the fans and how you wanted it wired. Hey, drone views. And
well, he kind of had it all done when I got there. But the first time, no.
No, the first time he didn't put it. I heard you say what happened to the fans that I brought you. Well, how many fans do you have in it? In that tower? About 6? Because you got the 2 on the cooling fan. You have 2 to push and 2 to pull.
Including the front case, 10.
Okay. All right. And how many did he put in the first time?
What he felt like.
That's messed up, man. Hey, Happy Sunday to you all out there. Welcome to Sunday nights with those guys. I could have walked Herman through it. Yeah, Jody probably. You know what? To build, hey Jody, you
No,
may
no,
need to
no.
contact.
I would have been able to do it. Is the fact that I was there already, giving to have it checked,
At Micro
find
Center,
out
right?
what was wrong with it.
Right. And they
I
told
already had the parts to build another
so
computer.
they told you instead of repairing it, you might as
So
well
instead of
build a new
just
one.
changing out parts here and there, and I was like, you know, if I could just rebuild the whole damn thing.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, we appreciate you guys coming. We have a lot of decent drone news and stories. I know you want to hear about Caddix. I have a story that I found in a DJI forum that's going to be interesting for you guys about the DJI FPV bird. There are a few things going on in the world, the drone community that we will be talking about. How's everyone in the chat? How's your Sunday so far? It's nice and comfortable here in New York City.
We do have a few people in the chat, Lawrence. We do have a few people in the chat.
Yes, we have JC Flying.
I think Jody was here first.
JC Flying, Jody, Chad B, Drone Views. I saw Hood Tours came over from Adrian Mateo and Dre's show, first time here. We appreciate you coming in. Who else?
John over there. Can you leave comments now, John?
And Steven, the Flyby guys, and SJM and JSK are here also. What were you saying, Herman?
No, I was asking John if he could leave comments here, because he couldn't leave comments before.
Yeah, he was having that issue. He says it's intermittent, so it happens and then it doesn't. So that sounds like a Yuba-Tuba thing. You know how stuff works.
Could be.
Sometimes.
It could be that, because I remember I was telling you about the issue that I was having with YouTube, and when you're going into when you go back in to edit something that you have waiting to either launch or a stream that's sometimes it won't show you the information that you already have in there.
Right.
And you didn't realize it until it happened to you.
Exactly. Well,
you didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
I got to go out and fly last night. Remember I told you the company was over and I just wanted to get out and go burn some batteries. Right. We got a picture of a couple of pictures. I was messing around over by the train bridge and Cross Bay Bridge. I was actually in between both of them. And there was some guys fishing, right? Now these guys are casting their lines. These guys are casting their lines out there. There's guys out there on jet skis with headlights and everything. And this dude on a jet ski came too close, caught dude's fishing line. His line is going because the guy's pulling it and he's yelling, yo, yo, yo. And he yanked it like this. And it must have got uncaught somehow and caught the guy in the chest. And you see the guy go like that. And somehow it snapped or whatever, but I didn't catch that on film. But I got some really nice golden hour shots. I've come to find out, is it the style to oversaturate your pictures these days, Herman? And the reason I'm asking is because
sometimes it looks nice, certain pictures.
Well, I did it for this picture and I don't like it.
I have a problem with that with green sometimes.
Well, I did it to this picture and everybody, I don't like it because it's oversaturated, but everybody on Facebook loved it. And I'm like, dude, there's too much orange in here, too much red and orange. The clouds look nice. The reflection off the water looks nice.
That's not so bad.
I guess I'm not used to coloring like that because I also have, hold on. This is
it could,
huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just opening up another one to show. I was opening up another one to show you the difference because I thought that was oversaturated. This one I did less to, but it looks cleaner. You see what I'm saying? I just don't like the red. I could have toned the reds down in the cloud. And of course, along the horizon here where Manhattan is in the background, it's a little too red for me. I'd rather it be orange, but it's toned down in comparison to the last one I just showed. And people are going crazy over these. I call them oversaturated photos. I mean, maybe it's me because I like things to look a little more realistic. It looks warm, SJM says. I agree. It's
Yeah.
usually they are a lot warmer.
Right, it is, but it's not so bad.
Okay, all right. And
I mean, the orangey clouds, yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's not so bad. It's not like the turquoise light shining through the windows. It's not.
I get it. Thanks, SJM. It's just that I'm trying something new, and I'm noticing that people are to get those reds and those oranges and those purples. I didn't know there was purple in the sky, only in the winter. Maybe it's just me, but I personally like stuff to look. If you're colorblind, it don't matter. That's true, Jody. That is true. If you're colorblind, it won't matter. But
colorblind doesn't actually work like that. But
yeah, well, you're still seeing shades of gray, and
colorblind doesn't actually work like that. My uncle colorblind.
But how's everyone's weekend? What's up with you, Herman? You got any plans? You're going to Virginia. When JC, I might be colorblind because that's overcolored for me.
No, it is. It is a little overcolored, but it's not as bad as some things that I've seen.
Okay, all right, but what's up? When are you going to Virginia? Because
next Saturday.
Those guys, half of those guys will be down in Virginia. So if you live in the Virginia area, holler at Herman, and maybe you guys will be able to meet up and go fly. I think, isn't Rodney Bell? You said Rodney Bell is in Virginia?
I don't know who's.
Or there's a possibility.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Hey, Ray Kelly, what's good?
I mean, Ray Kelly might be even in Virginia.
Chad B is in Virginia, I believe. He's asking where at.
I'm gonna find that out right now.
Okay, he's got to check the itinerary.
Yeah.
See how when important people go places and they have to check the itinerary, that shows a sign of importance there. But Chad B, if you are in Virginia, holler at Herman. Where are you going in Virginia? John heard you. JC. He's in Northern Virginia. Chad B's in Northern Virginia. John, JC's flying, says, where are you going in Virginia? He's checking now. Give him a second. But I'll ask you guys in the chat, did anyone get a chance to fly this week or this weekend? And if so, did you have fun? What happened? What's happening with you guys? Al Duran from Duranafly is in Virginia. He's in Richmond. But I will be out of town next week. Chad B. Ray Kelly says I'll be in Florida. It must be nice, Ray, to have your personal jet fly you back and forth from New York to Florida.
That's what I was going to ask you, Ray. Where do you park it when you
where does he park his jet, right? Where does he park his jet when he's flying back and forth to from New York to Florida and vice versa, right? It's true. But you might as well have your own. Brad is in Richmond too, right? But he will not. So you have Al Duran, Brad, but Brad will not be there. Duranafly, Al Duran, Duranafly is there. All right, so this Wednesday you'll announce it again.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay. But anyway, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Sunday Nights with those guys. It's been real fun hanging with you guys. Herman and I are going on 3+ years. Ray Kelly says at a secret location, Herman, where he hides the jet. But here's some news for you guys. I wanted to tell you, a lot of people fly when it's hot out and extreme heat and stuff like that. And when flying a drone in hot weather, you should consider certain things. DJI's drones their their aircraft operating temperatures from 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or from 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. And I want to point out that we've been having a few heat waves across the United States, and it is a well-known fact that if you are flying your drone in weather with a lot of humidity, that could cause issues. Something you want to take into account also is if you're flying in weather that says 98 degrees, real feel is 101, I really wouldn't go out and try and fly my drone in 101 weather, even though it says 98 or 97. Like, we just had a heat wave, right, Herman? And a lot of times it was 90 or high 80s, 89 degrees, and felt like 101 or 102 or 100 degrees.
Yeah, plus we have that, well, we have that humidity.
Yes, which makes
That's
the air very thick. Yes, which makes the air very, very thick.
But see, that's one of the things, like what I was trying to tell you about with the flying drones in hot weather. Yeah. That you should take the humidity into consideration also.
Yes.
Because the moisture in the air, that moisture, not only that heat that your drone is producing, but the heat that's in the air, plus that humidity getting into that air, wet air passing through your drone, is not good for the drone. It's not good for your batteries either.
Yes. Well, DJI has a temperature range of 0 to 40 degrees Celsius for the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro. I believe the Air 2S also has a maximum of 104 degrees, or the 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. And they say these are some things you should consider. Do not leave your drone batteries in the car when it's in the sun. The temperature of the full car can quickly rise to values that may make your batteries volatile. And do not place an empty battery that has warmed up directly on the charger first. Well, you guys should know that after flying, you don't take a warm battery and charge it. But these are just the whole
thing about the car too.
Yeah. Or take it and put it in a hot car.
Well, that's why I had asked guys, like, why you leave your drone in the car, period, because of that reason.
Right. And the story goes on to say, don't let other peripherals heat up too much while flying as well. I know people who own iPhones, have the problem of their phones dimming out and powering down on them in the middle of a flight. And that has a lot to do with the heat. They say you may experience your smartphone or tablet turning off because it's too hot. Of course, not useful if this is happening during a flight. So make sure your FPV screen is not exposed to the full direct sunlight. Ray Kelly went out and brought a sunshade for his controller, I saw. Things like that do help.
Okay.
Hey, Flying Finn. How are you? And welcome to the stream. I just figured I would give that little tip. We're coming up on the hotter days of summer before the weather actually breaks. And I know people who leave their batteries in the back of their truck or in the back of their Jeep or whatever. And it's just not good conditioning also for batteries. So just take into account these things, and you shouldn't have too bad of a problem. Also, after a flight, Ray, can you pick me up on the way back from Ireland? Oh, SJM Ray. They're talking about his jet. Okay.
Oh, that's not even,
I'm like
the same direction.
Yeah. My Crystal Sky overheated the other week in our heat wave. Exactly my point.
The Crystal Sky overheated?
Yeah, he said remember over in the UK across the pond, the heat that we had, they got about 3 or 4 days later.
Right, but the Crystal Sky was supposed to be good for that hot temperature.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. Does the Crystal Sky have a fan in it?
I don't know. But I know it was supposed to have been good at hot temperatures.
It was supposed to be able to handle hot temperatures and cold temperatures.
Right. Where tablets wouldn't.
Right. Right, and that was one of the main selling points for it.
Because I know that the new controller, the new DJI RC, that gets a little warm.
Okay, okay.
But
Well, I know my tablet and
but it
stuff.
has no fan.
I know my tablet and stuff gets a little hot, but I don't worry about that
Mhm.
a whole lot. But it's just food for thought, guys. Honestly, take heed to when it's hot out there. I know you love to fly. Do like I did last night. I went out. It was beautiful last night, but during the day it was a little rough. It
Yeah,
was
you
very
gotta watch the temperatures when you go out to fly. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to check that and make sure you're not going out in peak heat. I know a lot of guys like these sunrise videos. I mean, that's great. You get out before that heat and that humidity sets in. But even though sometimes you wake up in the morning, it's already 70, 80 degrees
yeah,
early in the morning. And
that's
but you
true.
don't have that, but you don't have the hot burn from the sun, and if you can get out and fly early or get those, those twilight, just before, or even that time just before starts to cool off for the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's on the days where it's really hot. But how hot does it really get regularly that we really have to worry about that?
I put my batteries in the fridge on a hot day.
Okay.
I
I wouldn't do that, but that goes back to the same theory of the whole humidity thing, the moisture.
the 5 inch gives you warnings quick. The 7 inch is much better. Hey, Jackson RC, how are you, Chris? Well, that's just food for thought. Harley, what's up, Greg? How are you, Harley FPV? That
Hello.
was just a tip. Now, we have something we want to talk. I wanted to show you guys first.
What?
And there's all these eVTOL companies, Herman, are always showing us their successes. Okay. And what I mean by they're always showing us their successes, there's you've heard EHang, you've heard Lilium, all of them show how they've passed their vertical takeoff test. They're doing all this stuff, but none of them have showed an eVTOL catching fire. And we actually have one. But before I do, I want to almost make this look like a commercial here. So what I'm going to do is pull this up. The name of the company is Aurora, and this is their G1 drone, Fly the Future. And this comes up, and I looked at it. This looked really nice and everything. And I was like, hey, this looks okay from a distance, but I'm going to pause it really quick on the next shot. Let me get rid of this and point out that it looks very flimsy. Okay, and what I mean by very flimsy, it has two different sets of props. It has these larger props on the outside, and then these foldable 15-inch, 18-inch props, whatever they are. They have four here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the same thing on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if you look at it, you see it is a one-seater drone. Okay, it looks very, very poorly configured. This is from their personal website. I do have footage of what happens when things go wrong.
I get it. From a lot of these things, I realize that some of these guys go to different schools.
Yes, they do. And you're 100% right about that, because this Aurora from Aurora Aerospace caught fire. And let me pull up this picture first. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I'm quite sure it's been seen by now because I saw this
on Twitter. On Twitter, Twitty it.
Because it's wow.
This is it up close. Now look here. These motors are the props fold. Right here you have 1, 2, and then on the other side you have 1, 2, and then you have.
This is for the redundancy, huh?
I don't think so. But you have 4 big props and you have 8 smaller
in case one fails, still got some.
It could hover its way back down to the ground. Well, guys, this is what happens. Hold on. I'm muting the sound, but he tried. It is chained to the ground now. The rear wheels are changed, the front wheel. Now, what he's testing to see if he can get lift off in the back, then he tests to see if he can lift off in the front, which you will see. But not everything goes well, and I'm glad they actually showed this. Now, you see, it can lift. I don't like how they have shopping cart roller wheels on the bottom of it either, but that's neither here nor there. The fact, now he's pulling up, revving up full power to take off, and then all of a sudden there's a spark and there's a fire inside the cockpit. He bangs on this door here, and just as he bangs on this side here, the pilot gets out safely, but it's on fire. Now, what they do, which I like, is they unplug all those lipos. They take the lipos and they put them out on the grass, because those lipos will keep burning if you do not. What happened to Herman? I don't know. Maybe his internet, something weird happened. But I thought this was weird, and it's good to see what happens when eVTOLs fail. Seriously, I can't see the chat right now, but you guys could imagine what that pilot was thinking once the fire started under his seat and the cockpit started filling up with smoke. These are do's and don'ts. I must say, and I'm not going to be honest about it. Hey, Jim's droning. I would not, and I repeat, I would not get in that thing and try and fly. Jody said new PC. I hope that's not the case. Eventually Herman should come back. I don't know what happened. I'll send him a text in a minute, but lovely. What about being in the air if that happened? Jim's droning. You're 100% right. That smoke is very, very toxic, SJM. If it's electrical smoke, hold on, I just got a text from Herman, and let's see what it says. My computer restarted. Wow. That, just give him some time. Like Herman had mentioned earlier, he went to go have a problem looked at with his computer, and they convinced him that it would be, he had parts, brand new parts. He was going to build his pinky in the brain, take over the world supercomputer. And he had all his parts in the car when he took his old computer, and they convinced him you might as well just rebuild it because the pin layout was different on the processor. I struggle with airplanes, but needs must get to the sun. Anyway, hey, Andy Cortez, what's up, man? How are you, El Smeghead? Ride, is that... I wouldn't get in it, and I'm going to pull a picture back up. Actually, I'm going to pull their website back up, and you could get a better look at the bird. I must say, I don't think I would have gotten in this anyway. Seriously. The fact that I see foldable props here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 4 on top. You have one prop here, and the same configuration on the top of this bird. I don't know if I would actually get into it and want to try it. Something like the Jetson one. Oh, I didn't even realize this pusher prop in the back. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 props. 13 props. Well, I guess that's the norm for stuff like that. But would you guys get in this thing? Would you guys, after seeing that fire, would you get into it? And let's see. Let's play it back again. Here comes Herman. And like I said, he did test it. He was testing to see he could lift off and back first. It is chained down, and all they were supposed to do was hover at the length of the chain. Yes, welcome back, Herman.
Hey, what's good?
Welcome back, dude. I was just showing it again. And I must point out the shopping cart wheels on the bottom. I'm sorry. That's just
Is that shopping cart wheels or that?
Shopping cart wheels, dude. Hold
That's
on.
not
Hold on.
shopping cart wheels.
Watch. Hold on. When he lifts up, stop. Look here. Those are the shopping cart wheels. Let's see if we can blow this up. Here we go. Those are shopping cart wheels, dude.
No, they're not. Those are the wheels off of a dolly.
Okay. Shopping cart wheels. But would you get in? We used to make go-karts out of wheels like that back in the day. Would you guys, I'm asking, would you get in this thing and risk flying it? Now look, the fire started under the seat. Now he's in there banging this side. He banged that side. I guess he's patting it down or whatever.
So he could put it out.
Yeah, but he was able to get out, and breathing that black smoke was not cool. But like I said, they were fortunate enough to get all the light.
Was that you in there?
Huh?
Was that you in there?
If that was me in there, I probably would have never got out. I got COPD. I would have passed out from the black smoke. I would have never made it out. But it's just interesting to see that it's good to see sales.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, see, that's not the air taxis that we're talking about.
True. No, this was single use.
Yeah, this is that's something else. He's I don't know. I just look at the engineering of the thing, and it's like
it doesn't look like it's built well.
Anybody that
Just droning says a shopping cart has bigger wheels than that.
Right, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the wheels off a dolly.
If I made a drone, that would be it. Andy Cortez. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Andy, how much do you know about making drones?
He said he was banging for someone to get his ass out of there, get his butt out. I believe that. I do believe.
Help me, please. Help me, please. Somebody open the door.
SJM says it reminds him of a Hubsan. Oh God. Sorry, they're now exo drones.
Listen, stop picking on Hubsan.
Their Hubsan is EXO now, so we can see Hubsan.
Stop picking on EXO.
Well, he did say it was better than most drones out
there. Listen, it's a very good drone for someone else.
Andy Cortez, El Smeghead says, my beer would act as an extinguisher, my excess beer. He'll take roasted walnuts. Oh, to the wife. You know you got issues, John, right? I'll just let you know. You do have issues, John. I just thought I would point that out, but I'm glad you're back. That your computer restarting thing, it did that on its own.
Yeah.
It just went and all right.
Yeah. So it needed to restart. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I got extra windows open here too. I don't know what the hell all of that is about.
I don't know. But if you see a camera start turning from left to right, unplug it. Your webcam. And it's a stationary webcam, so that's pretty hard to do.
You think?
But I hope it's back. I hope everything's back to normal. And should have built-in fire protection. That would have made it too heavy, Jody. That fire extinguisher that dude brought it. That's true.
No, you didn't see what happened. The oxygen mask came down.
Oh, hey, what's up, Rob C? How are you, man? Hope all is well. Gary, 20 watching, 13 likes.
Can you imagine that thing?
Gary, I agree with you. It's some people like to lurk from outside. I don't mind. I don't care. But welcome to Sunday Nights with those guys. You know how we do. We do a little bit of drone talk, drone tech, and every now and then we go squirrel. But we are not doing any dropping of shots tonight. So just to let you guys know. England beat, haven't had a result like that since, we must be talking about football. Oh. It is football. Gary says pee it out. Yeah, you'll pee it out after your ass catch fire.
It's not a race car, Gary.
Were they pee in their suits?
Yeah, I've heard some stories
About race car drivers
Yeah, guys have done some shit.
yeah, yeah, the ones that are in the suit, they don't change that suit until it's time to go home.
Well, imagine this. You got one car and it's you and three other drivers, and you got to drive this thing on one track for 24 hours.
Yeah,
Now they change out your seat. They can change
right.
out your seat and put his seat in, but nobody wants your piss in the car when they got to get it for the next 8 hours and drive it.
No, you're right. You're right about that. You're 100% right. I've never experienced it. I have only watched
It's
maybe
just
one.
so eat bananas and sweet potatoes, but don't drink any water.
Well, I have watched my man pot and pans. I have seen the Le Mans race once, 24 hour, and you are right about that, Herman. They literally
Get your own catheter. If you feel you need it.
stop,
You
man.
feel the need to.
No, I'm good.
You can get it rigged up. You get the hose with the bend in it and hook it over the door right out the window.
Yeah.
Just piss away as you're driving down the track. It's just
Andy,
spraying out the bottom.
El Smeghead it got issues too. He says football is what we call real. Proper football is where you use your feet. Soccer is where what you do when your wife disrespects you. You soccer. I don't know, man. He's how does your wife put up with you, Andy?
Yeah,
She must be immune to him, or either find him really entertaining. One of the two. Either she's immune or she finds him really entertaining. That's ironic. Well, hope you guys got a chance to get out and fly. We have another heat wave coming to New York this week coming up.
we got a couple of hot days. If it's not 3 or more,
Yeah,
it's not a heat wave.
that's true. It has to be 90-degree plus
At least 3 days.
3 days in a row to be legally be called a
Heat wave.
Oh, he says she puts up with him because he's good in bed. I don't know, man. I really don't. It's how do we handle these guys?
I know how I'm gonna handle it. I'm just make another drink. Like my ice cube.
What's that? Oh, wait. That was your ice cube?
Yeah.
You didn't show me. You talked about it. You've the guys. You got to see the size of this ice cube. Hold on.
To get out the glass.
You got to get it out the glass. It fills the damn glass.
Well,
Meaning I don't snore. Yeah, okay. If you say so.
damn.
There you go. Damn, that's a big ass ice cube. It looks like something from a Marvel movie I saw. You know, but I need to get over by you this week. Only thing is I can't do it until well, you know what?
Ice cubes.
It won't. No, I want to see one of. I want. Yeah, use up one of them ice cubes with some good liquor. But it probably won't be until Friday when you leave, because you're leaving Saturday. Because Wednesday I'm not going anywhere, and Thursday I will be busy. Tech Art, how are you, man? Welcome.
Williamsburg is what we're supposed to be in that area.
What happened?
Going to be in the Williamsburg area.
Okay.
The exact location of where I'm staying, I don't know yet.
Oh, Williamsburg, Florida. Okay. All right. That's interesting.
Virginia.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Williamsburg, Virginia. I'm thinking Florida. I want to go back.
No, you don't. It's too humid.
Right about now, you're right. This time of the year it is. Night Train, what's good, man? How's the shoulder coming along? Hope all is well with you. I'm guessing people are starting to trickle over.
From
Wedding Big had a video premiere.
who?
And I think he was giving away a $50 Amazon gift card.
Who had this?
Wet and Big.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I guess a few people are trickling over. Hit that like button, guys, if you can.
Yeah, feel free.
Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Sunday nights with those.
Got 25 guys watching and 17 likes.
I'm still seeing 16. I must be on delay.
Oh,
Yeah, the South Florida drone meetup will be here sooner than I think. Yeah, I agree. But also here I wanted to talk about something else.
wasn't me.
With DJI. You guys that are FPV pilots have heard that DJI is no longer working in or coordinating with Caddix cameras. Okay, Caddix did something that I don't blame DJI for cutting them off for. Caddix signed on with Walk Snail to create a clone digital FPV VTX system. And as a result, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure you've heard it on earlier live streams during the week, DJI, and I repeat, DJI creates all digital systems for its birds, from the FPV bird to from the air unit to the Vista unit. Okay. Now you had Caddix putting their cameras, which had 120 frames per second, okay, with that Vista unit. Then you have RunCam, which is another great camera company, FPV camera company, and they are also using a unit. And I found out that Vista unit that everybody was using, DJI produces them. They were just letting other companies add their cameras to them. But like I said, mentioned before, because Caddix has signed a side contract with Walk Snail, DJI will no longer be sending Caddix any of their Vista units.
So you're saying they signed a deal to use the same camera that they were using with
the clone? Yes. So DJI said, smacked them on the hand and said, well, for the rest of those units out there,
they had an exclusive rights to that camera.
Yes, at the time. And Caddix went and started working in the background with Walk Snail. And now, of course, Walk Snail has a digital VTX system. So I want you to know, and a lot of people, Joshua Bardwell and all these FPV guys out there, wasn't Caddix the brother of Nicolas Cage character in Face Off? No. Getting back to what I was saying, DJI will still be producing Vista units. They will no longer have the Caddix name. So if you are an electronic history buff, I would say get the Caddix Nebula, get the Caddix Starlight, and the Caddix Polar, leave them in a box sealed, and probably in about 10, 15 years, somebody will give you money for them because they don't make them anymore.
But it won't work.
True. Well, look at all of the stuff that people collect. They collect stuff for years and years, and they know it's not gonna.
Like vinyl.
Like what?
Vinyl.
What's that?
Records.
Oh, like vinyl records. I'm sorry.
It's funny.
It sounded like you said vital.
You can still play vinyl, but you can't play damn cassette tapes and 8-track.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Can't find the players.
Or CD players.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can't find the players, but somebody always makes a turntable.
So it seems the V3 goggles may not be backwards compatible to V2 and the V1 goggles.
I don't think so.
Don't believe hey, rigor mortis, I don't personally believe that yet. It could be true because Herman, we got to go on to, we might as no, I'm going to keep that for later.
Well, you could go to it from here, but I don't think that I'm not sure. I can't
right. Well, keep in mind
DJI does what DJI does.
The DJI FPV bird is running on Odyssey,
and there's lies about the other things.
Well, the DJI FPV bird is operating on OcuSync 3,
Mm-hmm.
and the new software coming out, the new Air unit is on OcuSync 3,
Mm-hmm.
and the new goggles are also working on that platform. So
Right.
I would be interested to know where they're going with this. It's just rumors, don't believe this stuff till it's proven. Well, this is true, Maddie, but
Right. You're right. But I just
you still have to weigh the pros and cons. I mean, think about it this way. It's they produce too many of those V2 goggles. I know people are still using the V1 goggles. Okay, I know mad people that are still using the V2 goggles. So for them to shoot themselves in the foot, who
they do
knows?
that with almost everything.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They actually do. But those of you who know, DJI has been leaking pictures of their Inspire 3. Now, supposedly this Inspire 3, along with the new DJI Zone on DJI Avata or whatever, Avata, whatever you want to call it, are supposed to be coming out soon. My problem is, have you guys, of course, have seen these pictures. I'm sure you have, but I have to pull them up on screen. I just got a text. I don't know from who, but I will check in a second. This is one of the best pictures. I'm just waiting for this remote control. There we go, so I can zoom in. One of the better pictures we've seen of the Inspire 3. Now, I'm showing these pictures first because you
Mhm.
see, like you mentioned, Herman, how big that camera gimbal is
Right.
on this camera. As you see,
Well, I
it's
saw it in the gentleman who had the drone in his hand, whoever it might be.
mhm,
That gimbal and that camera look big as hell for the
which
size
would explain what it was ripped off during the crash.
of that drone.
Right, right. This now they still looks like they're using 15-inch props, but the form factor of this Inspire 3 has shrunken down. But something that I
How
want to
much?
point out, what's that?
How much?
I don't know. I would have to see an Inspire next to it, but it's generally
Because
smaller
they
than the
cut down
footprint.
on some of the plastic.
Yeah, but it's generally supposed to be generally smaller than the Inspire 1 or 2. And this picture here, I wanted to show really quick because what people don't understand about this picture, the drone, after it lands, has to sit back on its tail here so this gimbal doesn't touch the ground. So that's a lot more moving parts, if you understand what I'm saying, Herman.
Yeah, I guess. I
And
don't
the
know.
more moving parts you have, the more chance there is for something to break. Now, if you remember the old
The
Inspire, the
moment point of
arms.
failure.
Right, just the arms went up. And if you remember when we were in Philly, Billy Kyle had an issue with his Inspire with the that screw system that raises the arms up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting
Mm-hmm.
stuck. So I wonder if they actually improved on
Freeze
that.
it up.
Huh?
Put some white grease on it.
Well, there's a silicone spray you could spray, but
Same,
most people don't
same
know that.
grease you put,
But I have some
the
specs for
same
the
grease you put in the
Inspire.
seat track.
Oh, I have specs for the Inspire 3. SynCore 3.0. Okay, internal recording of Apple ProRes, which means you can record straight to the drone. Apple ProRes RAW, ProRes 422HQ, and of course, H.264 video. Now, it will also support 8K at 75 frames per second. Now, this depends on your camera loadout. So, to keep in mind, it supports 8K at 75 frames per second or 4K at 120 frames per second.
So
14 stops plus 14 stops of dynamic range built and a built-in ND filter, which is interesting, but and also interchangeable lenses. Um,
you know,
bef- huh?
no, I'm just saying when you go buy a camera or lens or something like that at like B&H, they
Yeah,
never t- they never tell you that the camera has 14 stops in dynamic range.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But hey, just me up. What's good, man? How are you? Hope all is well. But it'll be what they do come out with because DJI has been known to say one thing and do another, right? They have been known to.
In certain things, I mean, like you would expect certain things you would expect, and they just come out with something else, and then they make you understand why they did that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just being cheap,
Hey, Logan Carpenter, what's good,
and
man?
I'm not giving you that. I'm just gonna do it this way, and that's just that.
Well, Logan Carpenter says if they make that Inspire 3, that is a big drone. Why not the Phantom 5? The Phantom series is staying with the Phantom 4. You can get a Phantom 4 RTK unit or Enterprise version, whatever you want, but that's it.
Yeah, I know, but they're not doing it.
Yeah. We can forget about the
I
Phantom
mean,
5.
I
That
mean,
cookie.
honestly, we can all get together. We could go down and storm the building,
Yeah. With
find out why.
torches and pitchforks.
But the only thing that'll happen is they'll just invite the organizers inside and give them all a Mavic 3, and then they'll come back and tell us that they're not so bad.
Oh, like they do. Like, yeah,
And
that's
we
true.
still won't get a Phantom 5. But
Well, all I can say is if you want something close to the Phantom 5 or a Phantom 5, get the Phantom 4 Pro
or what you can
E2.
do, truthfully speaking,
Yeah.
um, and I can't really tell you to do this because I wouldn't do it.
Right.
But the next best thing to what we wanted and what we thought we were going to get with a Phantom 5 is what X Dynamics is doing. And if there's anyone out there, anybody, is there anybody out there that bought one? If you did, please check the about section on my channel and please send me an email. I'd like to know, is the drone any good? Is anybody out there? Anybody? And is anybody out there?
Yeah.
Anybody out there that bought one? I mean, I'm just like, because that was what we thought we were gonna get out of the.
Yes, just me, Hop. I do have some news from DJI that was happening in the forum. I'm going to get to that quite soon. I'm trying to pace myself with some of these stories here, but the meat.
Flip this back to that one.
What happened?
Nothing.
Oh, the meat of what I want to talk about today is those of you who know FPV pilots, of course, have heard about this. Race Day Quads had sued the FAA, and this week news came out that FAA's remote ID rule for drones is constitutional. DC courts have ruled. I want to mention, hold on, I know you want to go in, Herman. I want to mention also that there were 3 judges deciding on this. There were 3 judges on the panel that helped decide this, and then I'm going to release Herman. But before I do,
not me. I'm good. I'm okay.
what it says is the U.S. Appeals Court on Friday affirmed that remote ID rules for drones set by the FAA, were denied a petition by a drone user who said remote ID warrants governmental surveillance in violation of the 4th Amendment. Okay, now, whether that's true or not is to be said, but my issue is, how do you come up with a standard for something that doesn't exist? And right now, remote ID is still words of mouth. No one has come up with a remote ID chip. No one has come up with a blueprint for a remote ID chip or module.
Well, you see, once again, that goes back to what we spoke about here on Wednesday. And others pick up and run with. But you have other stories, and we've talked about that here. It was mentioned on other groups on how the FAA is notorious for not meeting their deadlines. And when you're dealing with a government agency with another government agency, they'll excuse that if they don't have their ducks in a row. But God
Right.
forbid you don't have your ducks in a row. There's no forgiveness.
Yeah, I understand
And
that.
and the thing is, when it comes to the remote ID, yeah, we understood what we were in for. We knew what was going down. We knew how it was worded. We knew what was going. And this organization challenged it. Now, I'm gonna tell you from here exactly what their points were, their major points. I don't know. I do understand that
Hey,
the
Bob.
issue of creating it was about of creating a standard for something that doesn't exist. I understood
That's
to
what,
make
right.
an argument against something of that nature. Yes, I understand that. It goes back to the whole thing of like, you have a guy for manslaughter, but you go after him for murder one.
Right.
You know, and from what I understand from listening, their suit was more so not geared towards the real issue of it from the real standpoint of it, but more so geared to where it gears towards them. You know, and I can't be sure of that, but that those are the things that I'm hearing.
Well, I need to clarify something. The recovery one had said that I had mentioned something that's wrong, but the Fourth Amendment covers the right of privacy within your home, basically, which means within your home, that's your backyard,
right? Well,
that's your property,
right? But that goes back to what the argument of taking off from your backyard.
Yeah.
You know, if you're flying a little a little FPV drone, a little whoop or something like that, why do you need, to broadcast a signal of where you are and what you're doing? Now you're inviting someone to your home.
Yes.
You understand? I understand those arguments totally.
Yes. Yes.
Because now you give someone the rights to knowing where your home is.
Right.
So you're just taking away from me the right to fly from my home safely. I get that. I get that argument.
Right. Raymond, put your camera on so I can bring you in. Well, see, my problem is their lawsuit was incorrect using the Fourth Amendment. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. I was misunderstanding. That the point he was making, but that does make sense. My problem is, remote ID. Go ahead, Herman.
Like I said, I understand issues of not being able to fly from your backyard, those type of issues.
Yeah.
And you're just flying around, the space over your, around your house a little.
Well, according to them, the only way that remote ID will not apply to you is if you're flying a drone that weighs less than 250 grams, such as the DJI Mini 3, without the extended battery, or if you fly a drone, FAA recognized identification area. These FRIAs are your traditional AMA fields.
Right. That's what I'm saying to you. You're not going to fly it in controlled airspace.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my problem is they're making a big thing over this when no one has introduced a module. Or how can you make laws for some? Well, I guess they do it all the time. Once
again, when you have, you have a business.
Yeah.
Right? And every day you come to your business, the window is broken. And you call up people to come put in a new glass. and I come to you and I say to you, listen, I understand you're having problems in the neighborhood.
XJet pointed out.
If you take care of me, I make sure that don't happen to you again.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I got you.
So you just paid me to protect you from myself.
Right. And
So now, when we're talking about government agencies,
yeah,
whether you have your ducks in a row or not, the government will do what the government will do.
regardless.
You understand what I'm saying to you? So that module that everybody knows that doesn't exist and everybody's waiting for, these companies are waiting for to put into the drone.
Yeah.
Government will do what the government do.
But I want to read something real quick that El Smeg had put. He said XJet did explain it more in detail. Says he pointed out there was a case where expectation of privacy doesn't include your garden, and passing aircraft can see into gardens. Which, yeah, we know that.
Understandable. But what I'm saying to you is that when you start talking about the issues of broadcasting pilots' location,
right.
That location now becomes my backyard. Now that location is now my home.
Yes.
It's now just broadcasted.
Well, these guys, Race Day Quads, raised $83,000 from about 2,000 donors to help them with this case. And someone mentioned in the chat, maybe they should have waited before they sued them. But Race Day Quads being an FPV store.
Well, you have to have that suit filed at a certain time. So
yes, yeah,
I understood that.
Right, you have to raise your hand and say, ooh, teacher, you know, or else you won't be acknowledged. So it did make sense. But what I didn't like about this story was one of the judges said drone pilots generally lack any responsible expectation of privacy in the locations of their drone systems during flight. A search for purposes of the Fourth Amendment occurs when government actions infringe on a sphere an individual seeks to preserve as private, and the expectation of privacy is one society considers reasonable under circumstances. So what you call private may not be private to the next man. But if I'm flying in my backyard or on a 5-acre strip of land where I live, that's private.
Well, right, but what I kind of understand where that comes from because of the fact that we fly from public places, and a lot of people believe that you have a right to privacy in public, and you really don't. That's why I said to you, when you start worrying so much about guys coming up and robbing you, we fly here in New York. We take off from street corners sometimes and blocks where we can get our best vantage point at the shot.
Right.
Now our perimeter is set up, but people are still passing on the out and seeing where you're taking off from.
Yeah.
It hasn't yet come up to where a point where I'm not naive to think that it can't happen. And I do keep that in the back of my mind. That's why we don't leave home without certain things.
Right, but
you know, I understand that
Adrian Mateo.
Things are what they are.
And Tony.
And I mean, I'm not saying that it won't happen and it can't happen. It could happen.
But you failed to mention. I thought you were going to mention.
My problem is the fact that if I'm flying, like the guys mentioned about flying from their backyard, if pilot location is a thing that they want to broadcast, then it's bad when you're broadcasting the location of someone's home.
Right. But I also wanted to bring up the fact that if all of this is being done so they can get commercial drones in the air. We know this. But
remote ID, we talked about this earlier. Remote ID, not to cut you off, but remote ID was not designed for us. It wasn't really designed for us.
Right. I wanted you to mention that.
Remote ID was designed so that they can implement their commercial drones into airspace at a lower altitude than what planes fly at. Now, if you're going to be in the same airspace with them, just like when you had to take the 107
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be flying in our airspace, then you need to know how our airspace operates.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So if you're going to be flying in our airspace along with these drones, and we're going to create
A UTM, unmanned traffic
right,
management.
an unmanned aircraft management system,
Right.
such as what they have for manned aircraft, then we need to be able to identify everyone.
You see what Draymond put? Inside your dwelling is private from view. Once you are outside, you lose that sense of privacy.
Understandable, Draymond, but
Then
what
how
I'm
come
saying
they
to
can
you
still
is,
call I understand that too, but how come many people call the police on someone on a drone that passed over their home or their backyard?
understandable, Draymond, but what I'm saying to you is about broadcasting pilots' location. If you're flying in your backyard, they broadcasted the location of your home.
Yeah, that's true. That is very,
That's
very
the
true.
only issue I can take with that. I mean, I understand that about me flying outside in the park or me flying down the street.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Right.
I'm open to whomever's passing by, and whoever if that location is not. That's why I said when God's talking about I'm flying from a secret location. Wow, where the hell are you? Only you know, and the guys passing by in those cars, huh? I understand that in public, but it's kind of tough flying from your house.
Well, put it this way. Basically, you're going to have to
You're flying
conform
from
to
your
it.
backyard.
If you want to keep flying, you want to continue flying, you're going to have to
Don't fly in your
conform.
backyard.
Just like everybody complained about land.
Look, listen, I'm not worrying about that. Just don't.
I'm not either, because you
don't
remember
fly from your backyard because if it's broadcasting your location,
public
it's
should not have
broadcasting the
access.
location to your
With
house.
Ray Kelly, it's true. The public should not have access to that information. But if someone creates an app that shows that drone in the air and it shows where that drone pilot is, and they claim law enforcement will have access to this stuff, but no one should have access to that information without a warrant.
What, the access to your home?
Access to where you are personally.
Once again, if you're out in public,
yeah,
you're not private. I understand that argument from the government. Totally. Yeah. I understand that.
I do as well.
That's the argument being made.
Yeah, true.
Totally understand that. But what I'm saying to you is that if I'm in my backyard, yes, seeing what from my backyard, yes. Flying over my backyard, that's not private because I'm outside in the public airspace. But it's still broadcasting the location of my home.
I agree with Draymond. He says the broadcasting of location to general public is what the argument should have been, not about expected privacy.
Right, understandable. Totally understand, and that's where they made their mistake.
Yeah, and they lost.
And that was what the reason for the live stream Wednesday, to make that clear, to make that understandable, and now we're clearing this up again.
Right.
I understand that totally.
Right.
I'm out in public. I'm outside. Once I crack the front door, the door anywhere, go outside. I'm in the fresh outside space, outside light. No public, no private.
I understand that, but see, once you are out in the street, and I see what you put, Tony, quadcopters and tech.
And that a lot of people don't even understand it. That even falls into the category of you having your window shades wide open.
True.
If I can see that from the public,
yeah, it's fair game.
Or a plane or something passing by,
it's fair game. But given the quad Tony put on, given you are in public, but when it comes to tracking you, the Federal Communications Privacy Act should be enforced. But that's not how it's going to be. We've already heard discussion of an average person with a cell phone might be able to pull up an app and see the drone in the air and be able to tell what direction it's heading or where it came from. I'm cool with that. But when it goes down to telling people where the pilot is, then even though you are in open domain and you step outside your house, anything is liable to happen. Hey, show, That's where it gets a little twisty. I get it. I get it, Herman. I get it. When
Don't fly from the moon.
once you're outside your door, you are public domain. One side, when you're outside the door, once you have that shade open and we could see that the paint in your house is yellow in the kitchen, that's open domain because you can literally see it. I get all of that. But the location apps won't allow this. First of all, I don't believe everyone should have these location apps. And second, I don't think they'll come to fruition, to be honest. What company and who do you know is going to be out there that's going to create an app for the average Joe that knows nothing about drones? You know who would use this stuff? Malicious people. Oh, there's a drone pilot over there.
Right, understandable. Understandable. And if, like I said, if we talk them up, they'll probably happen. It'll be other drone pilots. But
Yeah.
no, but what I'm saying to you is that no, what I'm saying is that if you're flying from your backyard, what they're now broadcasting is your home.
Your location of your home. Yes. Yes.
That's all I'm saying. So if that's the main issue, if guys are really worried about people coming to get you, then we need to stop flying in public parks and stuff like that and off the public streets, because that's what people get got.
It's true. It's true. And like we fly in New York, like you said, we pull up to a street corner. How many times have we been flying on a street corner to get a certain vantage point of a building or bridge or a view? And we've had police officers ride by. We've had police officers, Karens, call police on us. And we've showed credentials and show that we legally can fly from this area, etc. And we're not flying over large groups of people. We're doing everything by the book, but
and the police just keep on rolling.
And the police, how many times have the police passed us?
I'm quite sure.
Or stopped and
somebody, if they had, that would more like happen like up at Jones Beach. You get the police up there to watch, because a lot of them fly up there too.
Right, but they tell you can't fly at Jones Beach.
Who?
From what I understand, if you go out to Jones Beach, they tell you cannot fly because it's
Parks
considered the Parks Department does tell you that, but other people on the ground will tell you, oh, there's no flying drones here. But I see people.
But the cops will tell you to go ahead.
Right, but I see people flying at Jones Beach all the time. So is it personal preference? You don't want me flying there, but you'll let your buddy that lives in the next town fly there? Because from what I've experienced, Herman, this is personal experience. At Jones Beach, I went to fly, and I was told before I could get off the ground. At Jones Beach, I went to go fly outside of their parking lot, not over the beach. And I was told while setting up, you cannot fly here. But yet, I see people from Long Island flying. I see people from Long Island flying Jones Beach all the freaking time.
Go to Orchard Beach. They're more friendly up there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you got the view of death, but.
Well, JC, you said that's why the public won't have access to pinpoint where you are. We don't know this yet because no one's created an app that's actually.
We don't know this yet because it's not finalized. It's just that they tell you that this is what we're doing to you, and that's that.
Yeah.
You know, the things that guys found to be so much argumentative with these with remote ID, I just thought that for the FPV side of it, that guys didn't see some of the things that I saw with this thing. You know, when you buy a drone off the shelf and fly it, the manufacturer has done everything except register that drone for you.
Pretty much.
When you build one, guess what you have to do?
Yeah.
Everything the manufacturer did. Like, you got to make sure that module is in there.
Right. Now,
is this thing fly worth?
Is it airworthy? Is it airworthy? And you are right. But this is the same point I'm making with Lance. When Lance started and they were talking about telling us how high we could fly, how low we could fly, people were saying, I'm not flying, they can't tell me what to do. Well, over 500,000 people in the United States have conformed to using Lance. Okay,
Right.
over
I
half a
mean,
million plus, and over half a million people were concerned that they would not be able to fly in places that they used to fly, which has happened, but we are still flying here in New York City, right?
listen, remote ID and guys worrying about knowing where you are. Half you guys go live every time you go fly anyway.
Yeah. I want to get on to
On
one.
Facebook.
It's true, but I want to get on to one thing that I found also, just to diverse a little from the subject. For those of
Uh-huh.
you, I'm going to pull this up because this is
What?
DJI's forum. For those of you who fly the DJI FPV Bird, you may not like what you're about to hear.
Well,
If you follow, go ahead,
this is
Herman.
from DJI forum.
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now on screen. Right here, DJI forum, tutorials, DJI FPV end of life. This is a topic that's going on, and this was posted by DJI itself. This is their website, forum, DJI.com, thread number so and so, so and so. But it says right here, and I want to read it clearly, DJI FPV systems is no longer in production. And it says for the latest technology, please review the recommendations, which means not only are they not making anymore, but when you crash them, what are you going to do about parts? DJI Care Refresh. And this is one reason I'm glad I did not get the DJI FPV and that I fly well, it's FPV, but I fly the original FPV because companies can do this to you. It looks like Herman's computer restarted. He's having issues. Now, I want to point this out because this is on DJI's page. I cannot see the chat right now. I'm going back to it. But repeat, DJI FPV systems are no longer in production. And whenever DJI stops producing something, that means they plan on coming out with something new. Now, I want to read until Herman comes back. I want to read some of the stuff that these guys put in this thread. And it means so looks like we listened to the FPV community. DJI was just getting intel to develop and release a new drone and now dropping it after all of the research they've done with that DJI FPV bird. I would tend to believe that because DJI is known for using us as guinea pigs. Now, it says, sounds perfect for me. I'm glad they tested the market. I'm not. But this guy says, I'm glad they tested the market and the product before releasing their own drone. That's fine and dandy and a whole night. But this next conversation that comes up, dear DJI, do you think that users of the DJI FPV system, I mean, the real FPV community, will switch to your new drone? No, I don't think so. You did not understand the main idea of the hobby. It is not just about flying, but it's also about modeling, soldering, and proving. The ratio is 70% building and 30% flying. He says, he goes on to say, I've flown analog video for years, and I was excited about the DJI FPV system, but because it's HD and all of that stuff. But to make a long story short, DJI will no longer be producing these FPV birds that all of you guys have brought. And what do you think about it? And how do you plan on dealing with that? Where me, I'm still flying carbon fiber. And that sucks, not right for us who purchased it. Exactly my point, Jim's droning. Exactly my point. A crook idiot comes up. JC's talking about that. So now I'm going to agree with Max here and say the words DJI sucks. They tested us with this new DJI bird, and you guys know they're famous for doing stuff like that. For coming out with stuff and using us as guinea pigs. And I wanted this to be a topic because DJI has did it to us again. They have done it to us again. They did their testing, they put a product out, they tested it, and now they're going to come out with a complete version. But here's the link. If you guys don't believe that this forum is real, I will post the link here. This is straight from DJI. So Jim's droning says for us who have just brought the DJI bird that is not in production, it's kind of weird. But I just wanted to read one more thing. The guy says, please make another, oh, here it is. Let me find a sentence before. it is sad that you have pushed our community of FPV modelers to the sideline, meaning us who build our drones still. And you are trying to attract people who probably cannot replace a light bulb at home. I had to laugh at that. Please make another FPV drone on carbon base so that after each strong impact, I can change propellers, not the whole arm. And I agree with this guy 100% about this. Why do they keep doing updates for the DJI FPV? Bob Casey, they can give you updates up until the last day they say we're not flying them anymore. Hey, Pixie's channel, good to see you from across the pond. Long time no see, hope all is well. Yes, Max Air, I do agree DJI does suck, but I want you guys to look at this thread right here. They say they are no longer producing that DJI FPV bird. And usually when DJI does that, they're going to come out with something new. That DJI Avata is just to keep your mouth wet. Well, if DJI doesn't come out with a carbon fiber frame, you don't have to ever worry about me buying anything DJI other than the air units.
Well, let's hold on. They're discontinuing this viable
production. Yes,
right. Production. I understand that. Not support or anything on it.
Right.
No, I understand that because they're coming out with something new, which is what's coming out.
Yes.
Totally understandable. But what you need to worry about is when you hear them talking about discontinuing support and everything for it.
Right.
That's when you need to worry.
Well, see, this is
a lot of guys are flying this thing, and a lot of people like it.
Right. Jim's Droning says he just got one. They are still putting out updates for it, which means they hey, little Laura, I'm sorry, I didn't see you in the chat. I was in another window, but I understand what you're saying, Herman. You should worry when they stop support.
Right. That's when you worry.
But I'm sure they have hundreds of thousands of FPV birds out there, ready to be sold, ready to be replaced, ready to be care refreshed. That's cool in the whole nine, but you have to think long term. After a while, that supply starts dwindling down. And the way I see it, and from what I think they're trying to do, they do still September. Oh no, Tony, quadcopters attack.
Tony.
They do not support the Phantom 3 anymore. We did a story on it.
I know in September they're going to cut them off.
Oh, in September the Phantom 3 is finally dead for support. Oh, now see, that's when you have to worry.
Accessories and everything, batteries, everything.
So all of these Phantom 3s that they have at $350, $450 in all these stores, you can buy one, but that's going to be a problem. When DJI drops, they drop support as well. Doesn't matter if they stop support if it's only a firmware version that works on them. I agree with you, Andy Cortez, because they still have very little support. What's that, Herman?
Well, you want to worry about support and because if something goes wrong with your drone, even though they've stopped production, you want to be able to get the drone fixed.
Yes. If they stop production, that's okay, as long as they support it. And the point I'm making is I still have my Mavic Pro.
Like they weren't making more Phantom 3, the Phantom 3 period. They weren't making it, but they were still supporting.
Right. Now I still have my Mavic Pro. If I go to DJI website, I don't even know if there's still support for that Mavic Pro. I need to. I wouldn't send it back to them anyway. Right.
They do support it anymore.
Right, exactly my point. But I still have a working bird that works. And once it drops out of the sky, I'm not mad. I have insurance on it anyway. All I do is State Farm, my drone fell out the sky, cut me a check. When was the last firmware update on the Phantom 3 series? Let's check that out.
Good God.
Let's check that out. Phantom 3 update. Let's see. Someone says Phantom 3 update failed. So let's see. Hold on. A lot of guys have videos
for it.
Is the Phantom 3 still supported? I'm trying to see Phantom 3 Download Center. I'm pulling it up now. Hold on, so you guys can see along with me right here. Here's Phantom 3 Professional 4K filming DJI Go app. It's still on the DJI Go app. You can still download it. They up until September, but as far as the last firmware update, I could not tell you. I'm looking here. I don't see anything. They're talking about intelligent batteries. Oh, firmware. Here, the last firmware version was 2017.
Right.
June of 2017.
Right.
Was the last firmware update. Good questions, Raymond.
Because the Phantom 4 came out and the Phantom 4 Pro came out.
Yep. Yeah. That's interesting. That isn't right to just cut off these drones like that. Expensive ass drones DJI leaves you in the dust. Well, then Bob Casey, they're not leaving you quite. They're just not making anymore.
Well, even with them saying that they're not going to support the repair and stuff on these drones anymore.
Right.
You know, you're asking the company to continue to make parts and to keep parts for a drone that 4 models back. You know, only the car manufacturers can absorb something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a 03 Cadillac Escalade. Now,
I'm listening to you. Just
Andy's a trip. Mirror, the driver's side rear view mirror is still $700 at the dealer.
Wow.
If that's $700 for an 03, what the hell is the cost of the one for the new model?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, leave the children there? You stay here and hang out while I enjoy the mirror.
True. This is very, very true. But I just thought I would point this out because I had found it randomly and I saw somebody complaining that DJI FPV system is no longer in production. And like I said, I will pull it up. I'm going to keep following this forum
as many
to
people,
see where it goes. Keep going, Herman.
Kick that drone. It seems to be a lot of people who love it.
There is. I know there's a few FPV people that have actually went to the DJI.
You be beating the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
And other guys.
Yeah, I see a lot of guys that live in New York flying the hell out of that bird. But who's to say? Cars use old parts from different vehicles. Some of them do. The Go 4 Rocks Fly app does suck. I will agree with you tenfold on that.
What happened?
Andy Cortez says Go 4 Rocks Fly app sucks. If you want something closer to Go 4, use Lychee. But he also puts, I've seen bras that have less support than DJI. I mean, it's sad to talk about, but
you know the pool look.
You have to try and get into the minds of these guys, and nobody can do it because we can't even figure out what the hell they're coming out with. They will show us a picture of a box, Herman, and then 6 months later launch something, and in that box you will see exactly what they were launching.
Well, truthfully speaking, for DJI to continue to support every single drone, okay. Imagine DJI still has support for the Phantom 1. Do you know what their payroll would look like?
Yeah. I get it. I do get it. I get it, but I just wanted to bring that up to you guys who may not know. Now, everyone was going
Phantom 1, and I got a specific set of people who are repairing still Phantom 1s and putting your old guts in the new bodies, and I got a set of software people who are doing software, keeping it up to date and refreshing it and putting in the fly safe database to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No company's going to do that. I get it. I
get it. I get it too. But
I know what we like. We would love our dollar to stretch into $5 million.
I get it too. But what the FPV community is saying is that DJI once again used us as guinea pigs to see what would work and what wouldn't. Now that they see that DJI FPV bird was a success, Now it's time to move on to phase B and come up with whatever they originally were going to come out with.
I
Because I refuse to believe that they're going to keep building plastic FPV birds and not use carbon fiber.
Well, I told you day one.
Yeah.
If DJI had units for you to be able to make your own FPV drone, then DJI should have expanded on that idea.
Yeah, you said that back when it came out.
FPV drone.
You said that back when it came out. I remember you mentioning it.
It made no sense to do what they did. And unless you just want people to buy Care Refresh, if that's what your shit is, why don't you come out and say we're a Care Refresh company?
Right. Buy our bird and we'll replace it if you pay this fee. Pretty much. But, Herman, it's that time.
Wow.
Yeah. It's that time already. I mean, I would like to carry this conversation on a little more, but drone lifespan is so rapid, we are forced in the industry only 10 to 12 years old. That's true. Looks how many units have come and gone. Draymond, you're 100% right. And you got to remember, this is the same way with computers. Well, at least a guy explained this to me. Computer year is every 6 months. So when I used to repair computers and a lady would tell, this was years ago, lady would tell me my computer is 4 years old. Me, bro. Yeah, yeah. You know, with all the parts you've been buying.
You ain't gotta tell me.
Look at the monitor
and the monitor situation. You ain't gotta tell me. Please. You ain't gotta tell me. Please stop.
I agree with you, Andy Cortez, and we're gonna end the live stream with that. Let's just fly what we fly, do it safely, and nobody should have a problem.
What you can enjoy until you can't no more, and that's it.
That's it. Stop worrying about shit you can't change. Caddix is still Caddix is working with Walk Snail. Caddix is working with Walk Snail now. There are still Vista units out there by being used by RunCam. There are still air units being produced out there. FPV will be digital with DJI for a while, but let's see what they come out with. If they come out with a frame, a carbon fiber frame, maybe I'll get it. Because then I know if I crash it, I can repair it. But for that eggshell that they came out with, that everyone brought, that everyone loves,
yeah,
I just wasn't cool with that. But anyway, we appreciate you guys. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Herman?
No.
But like to check you out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be back. Well, we'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be like, did my microphone unplug? Yeah.
It's good. You're good. You're good. It skipped out for a second, but you're good.
Because it showed me that on the screen. I'll be in Virginia next week. Next week from Saturday on for a little while. Probably end up doing a stream from down there, but I'm not sure. But we'll be back Wednesday with some new and interesting stories for you guys. Hopefully something new will happen with DJI. We'll never know.
Who knows? Who knows?
DJI will do what DJI will do.
This is true. Anyway, we appreciate you all. Be safe, fly safer. And Sunday Nights with Those Guys is sponsored by Those Guys. Yes. Good night, everyone. Thank you for the support. Just fly what you fucking got and keep flying that. Good night.
At least until you can't anymore.
Right. Thank you, Andy.